Welcome back to the Lightskins podcast. My name is Ryan Bevins. I'm here with my co-host Bryant. Say what's up.
What's up? What's up?
It has been a minute. I don't think we recorded in like a month.
Yeah, around
least.
there.
Maybe like a little bit more. But various reasons. Life gets in the way. Sometimes it's hard to coordinate a day to record and stuff. But we are back now, and that's all that matters. How you been, Bryant? How you doing?
I've been good. How about you?
Been good. Been busy, but school semester's done for me, so more time to hopefully do the podcast, watch more basketball, etc.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're recording on New Year's Eve. You have any New Year's Eve plans?
Nope. Sadly, no. You?
No, me neither. I'm just staying inside. Yeah, I don't really celebrate like New Year's like that though. To be honest.
Okay. I thought you'd be out with friends and shit. No.
Nah, not really feeling it. But
right.
Nonetheless, a lot has happened since we last recorded, and today we're going to talk about, for one, we got to talk about the Brooklyn Nets, who last time we recorded a vid, they were looking down, horrendous. Ben Simmons was getting trolled. We were doing our own little Ben Simmons trolling, but ever since then, the Nets have been firing on all cylinders. I think they're currently on a 10-game win streak.
Yeah, they haven't lost.
And they're definitely top 5 in the Eastern Conference standings, I want to say.
They're third.
Sheesh, they're third.
They're tied with the Bucks right now.
Yeah, so we got to talk about them. We'll do our typical Lakers talk, because we got to talk about the Lakers as always.
Yes, sir.
Struggles, injuries, record breakings, etc., etc., etc. We're going to allocate blame towards the reasons for their losing in the past couple of weeks. Also, we have to talk about the Dallas Mavericks, and mainly Luka Doncic, and if they're really managing or building a team adequate enough. Are they doing a good job? What do they need to do for the future to get him some help and make Dallas a place that he'll want to stay in the future? And then another team that we're going to commit a lot of time to is the Chicago Bulls, who are kind of in a state of purgatory right now. They have 2 star players, but they are not in playoff position. Well, they're in 10th, which is the play-in spot, but it's obviously not where they would like to be ideally.
Yeah.
And then lastly, we're going to do a segment we created, or Bryant really created. We're going to talk about 3 teams that each of us think need to make a significant trade to either rebuild or contend for a title. So that is the schedule for today's episode on New Year's Eve. Bryant, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Let's get to it.
So let's get into it. First, we're gonna start out with the Lakers. Whenever we talk about the Lakers, they're always the first team we talk about in our recording session. So yeah, like I said, we're going to first allocate blame, how we think it should be divvied out accordingly. We're gonna give percents to it. So whoever we think is most at fault for the Lakers' lack of success. Bryant, you can go first.
All right, cool. Well, basically, it's pretty simple for me. I put 50% on LeBron, and then 50%.
Oh,
yeah,
damn.
Yeah, I'll tell you why right now. But I put 50% on LeBron, and then 50% on the front office, Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka. So, would you want me to talk about why I have it on LeBron first, or?
Yes. Please. Okay.
LeBron signed a 2-year, $97 million contract extension, correct? That's $47 or $48 million a year, right? The second year is a player option, so he can opt out of that. Mm-hmm. The thing about me is, LeBron knew that this roster wasn't going to be that competitive. Why are you taking that much money? You look at Tim Duncan's last 3 years. I think the first year was $9 million, the second year was $10 million, and the third year was $8 million. Out of those 3 years, I think they won the second year against Miami, but he took less money so the Spurs can get more players surrounding that team. LeBron could have easily taken 20 million, 25 million. He didn't have to take the max. And you knew that, and with that, AD's making a max, and then Russell Westbrook's making a max. So that really, I know people want to put the blame on Rob Pelinka, but he doesn't have the cap space to make those, to sign those players in free agency, or to make a trade to help this team. That's why I hold LeBron to a higher standard. And LeBron's the one that even though he isn't the GM, he does give his intel on what he wants around him. But there's so much that Rob Pelinka can do to help LeBron and the Lakers that he didn't really have no choices this year. The best player they signed was Lonnie Walker, and he's a decent player, but he's just basically the only player. Juan Toscano Anderson isn't that good.
JTA.
That dude's butt, dude. He's trash. He's not good. I don't know. And then they got Max Christie, Wayne Gabriel. These players around this team isn't going to do much for the Lakers. That's why I have 50% on LeBron and then 50% on Rob Pelinka, just because you know what LeBron needs around him. You could have easily made that trade in the beginning for Westbrook, for Miles Turner and Buddy Hield. Now they're in a position where teams know that they can get both of those picks because AD's out. They're desperate right now. The Lakers need to make a trade, and they're gonna have to give up those 2 picks to make a trade. So if Rob Pelinka, say he did it the first week and AD was healthy, right? They could say if AD was still, if he got injured still, right? They could have had Buddy Hield and Miles Turner still. Or they could have had another trade surrounding the Russell Westbrook and those 2 picks. But no, that didn't happen. But that's why I have 50% on LeBron, 50% on the front office.
Okay.
Your thoughts?
I think 50% on LeBron is way too much.
No?
Way too much. Okay, the first thing you said was the salary stuff.
Yes.
If he did like a Tim Duncan type thing.
Yes. Not even Tim Duncan. He could just took 20 million of it, or 25 million. He signed. It's a 47 million contract. That's my biggest issue with LeBron. Why are you taking that much of that much money? This team's desperate. This team doesn't really have that many assets around them, just with AD and Russell Westbrook, really. So you knew that you were gonna have to sign low contract players. So it's not like he didn't have an idea about this roster he was gonna come in with.
Okay, that's valid. What per year do you think he should have done?
At least 25 to 30 million. LeBron doesn't
25,
need
30?
LeBron doesn't need around there. LeBron doesn't need that much money. He's made billions of fucking money in his whole entire career, and endorsements and all that outside of basketball. So there's no reason to take that much money. That's one thing I hold against Kobe too. His last two years, he signed a 25 million 2-year contract with the Lakers. So that really fucking constrained the Lakers. They can't surround Kobe with the pieces they needed because Kobe took that massive contract.
Okay, that's fair enough. So let's just hypothetically say that LeBron took 27. I'll meet you in the middle between 25 and 30. Let's say he hypothetically took 27 million per year. So Russell Westbrook is making 47 million this year.
Yes.
AD is making 38.
Yes.
And let's add LeBron's hypothetical 27. That would put this team at 112 million, and the salary cap this year is 123 million.
Okay.
And that's just with those 3 players.
Uh-huh.
They also have Patrick Beverley's contract at 13 million. And that would put the Lakers at 125 million. So they would literally be over the cap with just 4 players, even if LeBron took only 25 million. With just 4 players. So they'd still only be able to sign minimum guys.
Another player at least, right?
Well, yeah, they could get one mid-level contract guy.
Yeah, I mean that could have helped them. So
currently, that's Lonnie Walker, who's making $6 million.
Yeah.
So I don't think LeBron taking 25 million would have even been that big of a difference. I think they still would have been up against the cap because they'd still have three max players, LeBron, Russ, and AD.
So you don't have an issue with LeBron's contract, knowing that he could just taken less money?
No, because it really wouldn't, like, him taking less money. Like, he has how much right now? What, 45, 46 something?
He's making 48 million a year basically.
He's making 48 million. We just did the math with him making 27 million, and they still would only have one mid-level contract
that's still
minimum
a
guys.
mid-level contract. They could.
But the mid-level is already being taken by Lonnie Walker. I'm telling you, Brian, I just did the math, man. I just did the math. They still would be up because, bro, Russ's contract is hefty as hell.
I know it's horrible.
So even if LeBron took less, like, it still wouldn't have made that big of a difference because they'd still only have one mid-level contract, and Lonnie Walker was the guy they used their mid-level on.
Let me ask you something. Would you rather have Lonnie Walker or Malik Monk?
If we're basing it off this year, Lonnie Walker. I would take last year's Malik Monk over Lonnie Walker.
All right.
So yeah, just based off the contract, I don't think I can give LeBron that much blame. We can give him a little bit of blame because of, like, I guess roster input, because I think he was really big on the Lakers adding like another star 2 years ago, so that's why Pelinka felt pressured to add Russell Westbrook, even though there's a lot of questions like X and O's wise, like how would LeBron and Russ and AD, all three players that aren't the best shooters that all like to get to the rim, how are they going to make it work? Everybody had questions about it, but Rob Pelinka just ignored it because he was pressured to add a star. So I can put blame on LeBron for that.
So what's your percent then? Give me your percentage.
I gave Rob Pelinka 60%.
Okay.
I gave the injury to AD 30%.
Oh,
and 5% to Darvin Ham, 5% to Braun. I'm not giving Pelinka 60% because of this last offseason. I'm giving it to him for like 2 off seasons ago. That's when he really fucked shit up.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Like letting Caruso and Kuzma go, or trading Kuzma, KCP. Like, those were like the youngest, like most energetic guys with talent on the Lakers team. How about not
resigning JaVale McGee and getting Marc Gasol, which backfired on them.
Marc Gasol, DeAndre Jordan, like those mistakes 1 and 2 years ago. That's what I'm giving Pelinka a hard time for, because that's really what set them up for failure. Like, his hands are you're right, his hands are tied. He couldn't really do much this offseason. But I think it was because of the mistakes that were made a year and 2 years ago.
But wouldn't you put at least a little bit more blame on LeBron, just because he is like the main attraction? He is the star. He is the leader of that team. He has the most input out of everyone on that team.
I mean, I thought about it, but
there's no way Rob Pelinka's making these moves without like telling LeBron first. You know what I mean? There's like no way.
That's valid, but he still is the fucking team president, so he still does have to decide for himself.
I got you on that, yeah.
You know? Like, that's just my opinion. I just gave Braun 5% because at the end of the day, the man is 38 years old and he's still balling out. And even though he's had some questionable... However much input he's had on the front office, he's had some questionable inputs. But at the end of the day, he's still balling out of control. There's no way a 38-year-old should be balling like this. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt.
All right.
And then, like, the injury to AD, I gave 30% to. Like, this team would probably still be, like, below 500, even with AD out there. But they wouldn't be as bad as they are right now if he was still playing.
What do you think really hurt the Lakers? You think that slow start in the beginning? That's what really killed them? That's why they're at, like, right now?
I mean, yeah, they kind of dug themselves a deep hole to dig out of.
Yeah.
So if they wanted to get back to 500 and be a playoff team, they would have little margin for error. they wouldn't be able to afford AD missing any time after that, after starting that slow. And then I gave Darvin Ham 5% because he had some questionable rotations.
Oh my God, he be playing some crazy rotations. He be having Patrick Beverly, Russell Westbrook, and then who else? It's
just some
Austin
wild
Reeves.
Shit.
He be running a 3-guard lineup.
Yeah, sometimes it's 4 guards, man.
Oh yeah, I was like, what the hell is he doing?
They get destroyed on the glass. They already have like centers that can't really rebound that. Like Wenyen Gabriel is scrawny as shit.
Center. He's not center. He's like a power forward, small forward dude.
Yeah.
No way.
So I don't really understand. I mean, a lot of that comes back to the AD injury and like the centers, Palika Sign aren't really centers
And Thomas Bryant, he plays his role really nice, but he's not a rim protector.
Yeah,
that's not limited. What he does.
Yeah, he's a stretch 5 mainly.
Basically.
But yeah, I mean, I could see your side of things, of why you're giving LeBron more heat. I can see it.
I can't really put any blame on AD just because I mean it's not like he's trying to get injured. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
like,
yeah.
I said 30% to the injury, not to AD himself.
No, yeah, like, okay.
But let's take a quick peek at their upcoming schedule. Schedule. They don't play tonight, right? Yeah,
they play tomorrow, I think.
Oh, they don't play till Monday.
Wow.
So Monday they play the Hornets. That's winnable.
Well, we don't know because they lost to the Hornets a couple of nights ago. Remember?
Yeah, that's why I'm not saying it's a guaranteed win. I'm saying it's winnable. Like they have a chance. Wednesday they play the Heat. I think that's also winnable because I think it's still at home. The Heat aren't all that this year.
No, they're struggling.
Hawks on Friday.
They're struggling too.
Yeah, and that's also home. Saturday they play the Kings. They've been pretty good.
They've been amazing.
And then Monday they play the Nuggets. So that's their next 5. I'm gonna say they go 2-3. They'll beat the Hornets and the Hawks.
I say 1-4. I see them only being the Hornets. There's no. I just don't have any faith.
That's understandable. Well, looks like it's a 13 seed for the Lakers this year. Oh, and the Pelicans definitely have that pick.
Oh, I know. I bet you they happy as hell right now.
They got the 1 seed right now, and they're gonna have a top 5 pick.
Unbelievable, unfucking believable, dude. Unbelievable.
That's wild, man. Well, let's. You ready to move on? We can talk about another team now. I'm intrigued to hear what you have to say about the Mavericks.
All right.
So yeah, it's obvious that Luka is carrying the fuck out of the Mavericks right now, and even though they got to the conference finals last year, a team that is carried so much by one player, where everything flows through him offensively, it has a ceiling, and I think that ceiling is like. The conference finals are getting swept in the NBA finals, and we saw them reach the conference finals and then just get beat. Did they get swept or they get one game? Did they get one game?
I don't even know if they got one game. Did they? Oh, they got one game. I mean, they went back to Oracle to play. I remember.
Yeah. So they definitely are going to have to get the man some help because he's going to tire himself out if he has to do this year in and year out just for the Mavericks to have a 4 or 5 seed. If he has to do this and drop 60, 20, 10 games on multiple nights throughout the season, he's going to get tired of it. He's going to want some help eventually. Like, he's going to need a star. The Christian Wood has played better than I thought he would, but I still feel like if you have Jalen Brunson on this team, who's played really well in New York, I think he'd still because he's closer to a star than Christian Wood is.
He'd help take the load off Luka a lot compared to
Yeah.
Christian Wood.
Because it's another guy that you're confident that can handle the ball, and whether it's facilitating for somebody else or getting his own offense. Like, they have Spencer Dinwiddie, but Brunson's obviously better. Tim Hardaway is what he is. Like, he's ridiculously inconsistent.
There's spot up shooters around Luka. That's basically it. They can't really do anything else but shoot. That's really how it is.
Yep, that's pretty much what it is, man. They do have the 8th best offensive rating and the 10th best defensive rating because they have defenders like Dorian Finney-Smith. He's like a very versatile defender. And the offensive rating is top 10, but like I said, in playoff and high-level basketball, when you're only playing against like other playoff teams, you're not getting a bailout game against the Hornets or Magic or somebody else. When you have to go a 7-game series against another team who is as good or better than you, that's where that type of offense is limited.
So so if you were the Mavs, would you try to make a move, or would you?
I don't think they can make a trade for a star player. That like their draft capital is kind of depleted after the Porzingis trade. They gave up like 3 picks to the Knicks to get Porzingis, and then they ended up having to give up Porzingis and a 2nd-round pick just to get him out of there and to get Dinwiddie. So I don't think they can make a trade for a star player. I think the best way to add a piece is going to be in free agency and freeing up some calories or some salary cap room when, like, I think the best player, like a prototypical player to surround Luka with would be like a Jaylen Brown, like a 2-way shot-creating wing like Jaylen Brown. Somebody like that. Obviously, there's not a lot of those out there.
No.
That are just going to be available whenever you want, but you just got to be opportunistic. And like Dallas is a big city, and Luka is one of the best players in the league. They're definitely going to have to get creative with free agency pitches to add another star because they're not getting one in the draft because their pick's always going to be like 20th or something like that. They're not going to make a marquee move for a star via a trade. I think it's going to have to be through free agency.
But who's gonna want to come to Dallas? Like, that's the thing about it. I don't know if like another star would want to play with Luka just because he dominates the ball so much. I mean, I think he had the highest usage rate last year with 37%.
Do you think he would dominate the ball as much if he had another star?
I think so, because when you look at Jalen Brunson, last year he averaged 16 with the Mavs. This year he's averaging 20.
Well, yeah, Brunson wasn't a star going into last season.
But he was still a quality piece.
But he wasn't a star, though. He made a name for himself and played himself into a star after the postseason. Then he got paid for it, and now he's got more opportunity because he's not playing. But
what about Porzingis as well? I mean, Porzingis would just stand around the perimeter.
I attribute a lot of that to coaching.
Rick Carlisle? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, maybe, yeah.
I think if he had another, like, perimeter player close to the tier of his own, like a Jaylen Brown, I think he'd definitely be willing to give the ball up. 100%.
All right.
Because, like he's eventually going to realize, like, if he hasn't realized it already, that this brand of basketball is going to be limited in terms of how far you can go in the postseason.
We've seen LeBron go through his first years with the Cavs.
Yeah.
Didn't go nowhere. But,
yeah. And he's got to just put pressure on the front office because it can be another LeBron situation where they didn't get him any star. They didn't try to. They didn't make that great of an effort to, and he up and left. Like, it can happen in three. Yeah, if it happens in 3 years, Luka will be 26. That would pretty much be the age that LeBron left, I'm pretty sure.
And honestly, do you see the Mavs winning in 2 or 3 years if this is basically the same team? I don't see it. There's no way.
I think the pressure is going to be on them in the 2024 free agency because I don't think it's a great free agency class in 2023 like this upcoming year.
I mean, Draymond Green.
Fuck.
That's really it.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're going to have to They're going to have to stay 10 toes down for 2024, clear up cap space for that year, because I think that's going to be their best bet. Let's move on to the Bulls now. You can kick us off for this one.
What's the question? What you want me to start off with?
Well, I mean, the question that we have written down is, should the Bulls rebuild? Or do you think they should keep trying with this current roster and be confident that they can contend, or at least be like in the middle range in the playoff picture, 4 through 6?
Okay, this is gonna shock you. I would keep DeRozan, but I'd trade Zach LaVine. I feel like DeMar DeRozan's a more valuable asset than LaVine. I feel like Zach LaVine's production has dropped off these past 2 seasons, and you can. I don't know if it's his. He's only 28, 29, so it can't be age. Maybe it's the injuries he suffered before.
27.
Which is kind of weird. Yeah. He's 27?
Yep.
That's wow. I would trade Zach LaVine. Because if I'm not mistaken, isn't he on like a max? Didn't he sign a max contract this year?
Yeah, he signed it this offseason.
Yeah. I would trade him, free up that cap space. Like, maybe one of the proposals was Zach LaVine for Westbrook. I mean, you could do that just to free up cap space, and just that way you're more versatile with what you can get in free agency, even though the free agency isn't that good next season. But I would keep DeRozan. I'd hope Lonzo Ball would recover, and then I'll just go with that next season. Because the thing about DeRozan and LaVine, they're both ball ISO. They're dominant players, so they need the ball. And I didn't think it was gonna work in the beginning, and somehow it worked last season. But I would trade LaVine instead of DeRozan. I would keep DeRozan for sure though. But I would trade LaVine.
That's interesting. Because if you trade LaVine and you keep DeRozan, you have to be confident that you can build a certified playoff team, or if you're confident enough, a title contender. You have to be confident that you can do that within like 2 years, kind of immediately, because DeRozan's 33.
Yeah.
So
But you still got what's his name? What's the center's name?
Vucevic.
Yeah, he's a valuable asset.
He's good,
he's good.
Him as your second best player.
I'm just saying so you can get someone else with DeRozan.
What do you mean, like trading Vucevic?
No, trade LaVine, right? So if you trade him, I guess like before the trade deadline, see if you can get maybe something like Westbrook, and just I guess like tank this season and then just come back next season and try to see if you can find a trade in the offseason. Maybe do that. Maybe get like a quality piece around DeRozan. Not a superstar, but like a quality piece, kind of like a Jalen Brunson when he was with the Mavs, like something like that.
Interesting. That is interesting. Do you think? I don't know. I don't know if like if you add a piece, if you swap out LaVine with next year a piece like Brunson, is that going to make this team much better than it is right now?
It doesn't have to be one. It could be multiple pieces because they're going to have the cap space. They're not going to be restrained like the Lakers, all up in just all that money on one player like LaVine. You're going to have more cap space to spend. Go out there and get more players. So it's not going to be one player, right? It's going to be multiple players. That's going to help take off the pressure off DeRozan.
I don't know if they'll have that much cap space.
Really?
Yeah, DeRozan's on a max. Vucevic is on a max. He got one in Orlando. Then they paid Lonzo like $20 million a year.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Lonzo's contract. Oh my god.
Oh, actually, Vucevic is a free agent this offseason.
Oh, there you go. That. Well, damn.
So
would you want to re-sign him if you were Chicago? Maybe like on a lesser, I guess, like on a friendlier deal.
Vooch?
Yeah, because I don't think there's no way he's gonna get max money from any team.
He's not worth $22 million. He's worth 15, 16.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good question. Would I re-sign him on that? Okay, let's go with your hypothetical. You trade LaVine. Let's say you trade him for an expiring contract like Russell Westbrook. So that all that money is off the table for 2023. You have 28 to DeRozan and 20 to Lonzo, 10 to Patrick Williams on his rookie contract, 9 to Caruso. Oh yeah, so they'd have a lot of money actually. They would have, if they were able to just get an expiring contract like Russ, they pretty much have like 30 plus million in cap space this offseason. But like we said, the free agency market is kind of dry. Like, I'm going to talk about this later, but I know Kristaps Porzingis and Kuzma are some of the top free agents this offseason if they both decline their player options. So,
if I know it's a stretch, but say because this is Kyrie can go to Chicago.
oh yeah, Kyrie's a player.
It's a stretch. It's a stretch, but I mean, if he doesn't get the max contract he wants to Brooklyn, he can just go to Chicago.
That's very interesting. That is very interesting.
That's what I'm saying. Sign Kyrie to a max, and you got Kyrie, DeRozan, Ball if he recovers.
Maybe
you still got Patrick Willis. Yeah, on a nice deal. That'd be an interesting team. Yeah.
Okay. Off the bat, my go-to wasn't gonna be like trading Zach LaVine because, but for various reasons. But like that possibility, like having that cap space, makes it more of an appealing option. I think they would have to. I don't know who it is that's gonna have like definitively have more value in a trade, because DeRozan is getting older and he's got 2 more years on his contract. LaVine is younger, but
the thing about DeRozan, he hasn't really had like a major injury.
That's true.
You know what I mean? That's the positive part about DeRozan, and his game isn't really finishing at the rim. It's more mid range. It's not attacking the rim compared to like LaVine. So
I think I might be more inclined to just completely
rebuild.
Completely rebuild.
Damn.
Because I don't know if like as a GM, I don't know if I'd be confident that I could build a contending team around DeRozan within 2 years. I don't, because like that Kyrie thing is an option, and there's other guys, but it's not definitive, you know. So I'd probably be more inclined to completely tear it down and kind of start over, maybe after this season, because they don't have their draft pick for this upcoming year because it was given to Orlando.
Oh yeah. Damn.
So they can't just tank this year.
No, yeah, never mind. I forgot about that.
So I'd probably be more inclined to kind of just completely rebuild. Lonzo's still 25. You can give him the next 2 years on his contract to see if he can stay healthy for you and see what he can do with the balls in his hands a little bit more.
But you don't think it's like Lonzo, Caruso, DeRozan, say if they re-sign Drummond to a friendly deal, of course. You don't think, and Patrick Willis, who's a decent,
Patrick Williams.
Oh, Williams. My bad.
Say Willis like the linebacker.
But you don't think, it doesn't even have to be Kyrie. You got Miles Turner. He is a free agent this year. Or I think restricted. And then you got Chris Middleton. I mean, for sure he's going to probably re-sign with the Bucks, but you never know. So there's options out there. And you said Kuzma as well. Like this, I really think they could get multiple pieces and really be a contend for a title not next year, but maybe next year.
It's possible, but I'm not really confident.
Right pieces.
I'm not really confident that could happen. It's possible though, because the NBA is really volatile. Anything can happen over the next 2 years. But like, to be a championship contender, I think is a little bit of a stretch because Boston's still going to be there. Milwaukee with Giannis, Cleveland, like those 3 teams off the bat. You expect the Nets to be there just with Kevin Durant on their team, and those are 4 teams that I would have over the Bulls. So championship, I didn't even say Philly. Championship contenders is kind of like, but maybe I could see them definitely being in the playoff picture if they were able to add guys like you said though.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So to completely answer the question, I'd probably be more inclined to completely embrace a rebuild though.
Rebuild the whole thing.
Yeah.
So if you were the Chicago, what would you be looking for? Picks, I'm assuming, or expiring contracts mainly.
Yeah, after this year, I'd probably be looking for picks, and
Yeah.
then maybe 2 or 3 years in advance if I do find like a nice young piece that I think I can build around. I can maybe prioritize cap space because Chicago is definitely one of the best markets in the league, or like more attractive. So like in the immediate, I'd look for draft picks, and then after that, I'd try to get off that Levine contract because that trading for that Levine contract right now is gonna be kind of impossible because
Yeah.
based off his production, it's not matching 45 million per year.
He's only averaging 22 points this year.
Yeah.
That's not really that. That's not that really great.
So I'd probably try to give him more time to reestablish his value, maybe if he can.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd probably tear it down. But I
Damn.
did like what you said about
Hey man, Kyrie's
that
in
cap space
Chicago.
Kyrie.
Who knows?
That would be really
Hey,
interesting. That would be really
that
interesting.
would.
Finally, we can get kind of to like the main event of the vid. The 3 teams that we think has to make or have to make a trade, either to rebuild or contend for a championship. Do you want to do like one
You want?
one
Yeah,
to
you
one?
want to do one by one? Yeah, we can do that.
Bet.
All right, you want me to go first? Or
Yeah, you go first. Wait,
all right.
tell me what teams, or like do you have like 2 teams that you think are trying to make this trade to rebuild, or all 3
I
trying to make
have.
a trade to tank, or what? Yeah, just tell me.
I have. I have 2 teams trying to rebuild and 1 team for a title contend.
Okay, I have the same thing.
Okay, cool.
But go ahead, start
All
with your
right.
first. Oh, also
This
let's do the 2 teams to rebuild as our first 2 teams, we'll say, and then the last
Okay.
team will be the title contender.
All right, cool. So my first team to rebuild is the Raptors. All right, listen. They're 16-20 right now. They're 3-7 in the last 10 games. What I would do is I would trade Siakam because he is a valuable piece, and he does have he is making 37 next year, and he's making 35 this year. So you can free up cap space. I'd just build around Scotty Barnes, even though he's having basically the same year. Just he isn't that, I guess, impressive because he is a little drop off. I'd trade Siakam, see if I can get maybe like an expiring contract. I'd trade Van Fleet. I don't know why they gave him that contract just because he had one good finals appearance. He's making 20 a year. He isn't a free agent until 2024. So I'd trade those 2 pieces and just build around the young players I have. And just hope. I mean, it's gonna be pretty bad for the next couple of years because I don't think anyone wants to go to Toronto via a trade though. But that's what I would do because I don't. The Raptors are the 9th or the 10th seed. One of
Something
those
like
2
that.
if you can.
I'll check
Yeah.
real quick.
But that's what I would do. To rebuild, I'd just trade Siakam or Van Fleet. Or maybe you can trade Siakam for a star. Who knows? He is averaging 26, 8, and 6. So those are impressive stats. So I mean, you can make a trade. But that's what I would do. I'd try to trade Siakam and Van Fleet.
Dude, I have the Raptors too. I have the Raptors.
Oh, hey.
That's why I laughed.
There we go.
For similar reasons, yeah. Siakam and Van Fleet were my first bullet point in my notes. Trading them, especially because Siakam is definitely up his trade value. This is pretty much a career year for him. Those are your last 2 guys from the
championship.
Yeah, the 2019 team. Try to offload those guys because they're still attractive to a contending team elsewhere. Also, OG Anunoby, he's a bit younger than them, but I don't know if he's on the same timeline as Scotty Barnes, and you might be able to
I would want to keep him, to be honest. I would want to keep him. I feel like he deserves not max contract money, but he deserves good money. You know what I mean? He's a quality piece.
I think it's viable either way. Like, it depends on what he's going to be asking for. Like, if you think he's going to be asking for something closer to like 25, 26 million, then I'd probably be more inclined to trading him. But if he's more willing to take on a team friendly contract, something along the lines of 20 per year over the next 4 years, then I'd probably want to keep him, but yeah, he's kind of like in that in between range, like between Siakam and Van Fleet, and between Scotty too. So that one you're gonna have to pretty much play by ear. But yeah, I'd mainly want to offload Siakam and Van Fleet for sure to give the keys to Scotty, because I feel like his development can really skyrocket if he has the ball in his hands a lot more, and you clearly say like, you are our franchise player. Like, he just won fucking Rookie of the Year. So I feel like the franchise needs to give him the confidence that he is the guy, like, definitively, to like take this team over the next 5 to 10 years. And they could definitely give him the confidence by specifically building around him, adding more draft capital. You're right, trading Siakam and Fleet, that would definitely improve their lottery odds, and that would improve their pick. They're currently 11th, so they're not even in the play-in picture.
Yeah. Wouldn't you think like they would have had a better seeding this year? I felt like they would have been, I had them like the 9th or 8th seed, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you had them at the 8th. I had them at the 9th, because I had them missing the playoffs. I know a lot of people thought they were going to be in like 6th or 5th, but the East got better, so I had them missing the playoffs. But yeah, after this year, if they miss the playoffs, it's kind of going to be like 2 straight years of mediocrity. Like last year, they made the playoffs, but they were the 8th seed.
Yeah, they lost to Philly.
This year, they're probably going to miss the playoffs, so they're kind of entering NBA purgatory, like that in between that in between range. So yeah, I think they should just commit to rebuilding around Scotty.
All right. Do you want to go? I guess you want to go now? Or?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll go for my next one. My second rebuilding team is the Washington Wizards.
Interesting. I thought they were already rebuilding.
Well, I mean, I say they have to make a trade to rebuild, because they still have fucking Beal, and they have Porzingis and Kuzma. Yeah. I don't think you can have those 3 players on your team and say that you are trying to rebuild. I think they're actually trying to make the playoffs. Their team just isn't good enough.
Yeah.
And we talked about the Beal contract multiple times already in prior episodes, but that is another contract that's going to severely limit them in what they can do. Like, they're pretty much not going to be a free agency option because of that contract. If they have other players around him already on their team, he's going to be taking up so much of their cap. It's going to be hard to surround him with players just through free agency.
How much is he making? $260, right? 5 years, $260.
Yeah, something absurd like that. So like, they're not going to be able to. I don't think they're going to be able to trade Bradley Beal this or next year. But I think they need to trade Porzingis and Kuzma. I said I was going to get to those 2 specifically, because they both have player options this year. And, like, obviously, if I think they need to rebuild, they need to get as much draft capital and assets for players that are on expiring contracts. And Kuzma, who's having a really good year this year, Porzingis is having a pretty good year. I think they're both averaging 20-plus per game.
Yeah, they're decent. They're doing their thing. It's just not winning.
It's not leading to wins. So I feel like they definitely both be attractive to contending teams. I feel like they're a piece away from certifying themselves as championship teams, especially Kuzma, because he's making only $12 million, I think, and that's going to be really easy to trade for if you're a team that's just looking for one more guy for this year to make a championship run. So that contract's easy to trade for. Porzingis, you're going to have another sizable contract, so it might be a little harder, but still possible. So if you can try and offload both of those guys for like just as many picks as you can get, you're not going to get an astronomical amount, but something that's going to help you rebuild. That would be the first step. So the next step would kind of be after that, like after trading those 2, you're kind of going to be tanking, because naturally your team is not going to be as good. Your record's going to decrease. Your odds at number 1 is going to be a lot higher in the draft. They're going to be in those Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. So make it as as possible as you can to get Victor Wembanyama. There's some other good guys in this draft as well, but they definitely need to be shooting for like a top 5 pick. That's gonna help their
At
rebuild.
least. If they got a top 5 pick, would you trade that pick for a star? Or if they could get a star, would you trade it? So you'd have Beal, of course, but would you trade it for like, I guess, like another star?
Very, very good question. You know what? Let's say they get the number 2 pick, because if you get number 1, you're keeping Wembanyama because he's a generational talent. Let's say they get the number 2 pick, and if you're gonna trade for a star, it's got to be on a team that's looking to trade their star. So like a team that underperformed.
Let me ask you this. Say if you get the first pick, would you trade? I know it sounds kind of stupid, but would you trade that? Oh, say the second pick, right? Say if you get the second pick, would you trade him? Say if Milwaukee wanted to trade Chris Middleton, would you do that? So
no,
you'd have Chris Middleton.
I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't think that really raises this team's ceiling. Beal and Middleton. Are they gonna? If
I'm not saying the first pick, because the first pick you're gonna keep it, but second and third pick.
So let's say they trade for Middleton and they try to keep Porzingis and re-sign him, or Kuzma.
Okay.
I don't really think that would make them one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. I don't think so. I'm not confident in it. It's likely, but I don't know. I'd probably keep it. I would need somebody better than Middleton, honestly.
So like who do you think would be a good fit? Say Jaylen Brown. Or do you think that would be a better fit? No, I feel like that'd be the same. Like,
there's comparable in terms of skill level, but Brown's more appealing because he's like 4 or 5 years younger.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at standings. Like,
to say if Milwaukee flames out, right? You know, to say they just have a disappointing, they get bounced out in the first or second round.
Well, we'd be talking about Middleton again.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think Middleton would be worth the number 2 pick.
You think Jaylen Brown would?
This would be interesting. Jaylen Brown probably not, but I don't know how much truth there are to the Trae Young rumors.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
Trae Young is somebody who's worth the number 2 pick. It would take the number 2 pick and probably like some other young assets, but Trae Young is a good conversation starter if those rumors are true.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
And yeah, the Hawks are 9th right now, so they're definitely underperforming.
So they're struggling.
Yeah. Let's see, out west. Blazers are never trading away Damian Lillard. That's
no, yeah.
Karl Anthony Towns.
No, I wouldn't do it. I don't think I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Yeah, I think it would take somebody along the likes of Trae Young to get me willing to trade away the number 2 pick if I'm the Wizards, because I feel like Trae Young, or actually, bro, that defensive backcourt. Oh my God!
Well, would you trade this is pretty obvious. I think you'd say yeah, but would you trade the second pick for Anthony Davis? So say if the Lakers went full rebuild, right? Say if they got never mind. They can't get the pick, right? Because it's New Orleans has a pick.
Yeah, New Orleans has.
Never mind. Damn, fuck.
Damn, I guess there really isn't that many people available that would be worth trading the second pick for. I think Trae Young would probably be the best option, but I'm already having second thoughts thinking about that defensive backcourt. They get fucking torched.
I mean, they'd be good on offense, but not good on defense.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah, I'd definitely be more inclined to keeping the pick though in general. And that doesn't mean that they have to trade Beal right away after getting like a top 5 pick. They can see how it works over the first 2 years and see if that whatever young player it is, whether it's Scoot Henderson or Nick Smith Jr., maybe even Wembanyama. But if that young player that they get, if he shows like early star potential signs, they can see how that partnership works with Beal. And if they think they can contend or compete sooner rather than later, then they can just roll with that partnership and maybe try to add somebody in free agency, because that young star will be on a rookie contract making only 9 or 10 million per year. They wouldn't have Porzingis on the books or Kuzma, so they have actual space potentially to kind of build around that duo.
Yeah, that is a good point.
So that would be my plan of action.
All right.
You can move on to your team.
All right. Now, second team, we kind of went over them, but I got Chicago to just rebuild with DeRozan. But you mentioned something I wasn't thinking about. What would you trade? Would you trade Zach LaVine for Bradley Beal? I know that you have to make the numbers match, but would you?
I think they all. Oh yeah, Zach is probably just making 10 million less. If I'm who? Am I Chicago or am I Washington?
Chicago. So say you like, okay, I'm gonna get rid of LaVine. Would you trade LaVine for Beal?
Straight up. If I'm Chicago,
because I think that'd be interesting.
Ooh.
So you have Beal and DeRozan.
Oh, man. I mean, I feel like I don't know how much that's gonna change. Because Beal and Zach do similar things. They're offense-heavy shooting guards, not the best playmakers. Beal is slightly better of a playmaker, but like they're not gonna provide the most defensively. Beal is more durable for sure, definitely more durable.
And he doesn't rely on his athleticism compared to LaVine. I feel like he has more skill than LaVine from an offensive standpoint.
I don't know. I'd still probably want to tear it all down. Rebuild. I'd still be more likely or inclined to tearing it all down.
But yeah, I had Chicago, just kind of what we mentioned earlier. Just I trade LaVine and just rebuild around DeRozan and just see if I can get a marquee free agent. Next year, like Kyrie or Miles Turner or Milton, something like that.
Okay, valid. I guess we can just move on to the contending teams. You didn't get to say much in the last one, so you can start it off with this one too.
Contending teams? All right. Where are they at? Let me see these. Oh, I got the Hawks.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so they're the 9th seed right now, right? The 17. Okay, yeah. They have, if I'm not mistaken, they got 7 players averaging double digits in points. There's no way this team should be the 9th seed. Now, the rumors about Trae Young and Nate McMillan and them about having like a spat are saying we don't know all that. But what I would do is, if I was the Hawks, I would trade John Collins because he's having a down year this year, and he is averaging a decent amount of money. So I would trade him, see if I could get like a quality not shooter per se, but maybe like a defender. Because I feel like that's if the Hawks can, because they already have enough offensive power. They don't need offense. They need someone like a lockdown defender. So I don't know who's on the market right now for that type of role. But that's what I would do if I was the Hawks. I would trade John Collins just because he's having a down year. Yeah. He's averaging 12 points. I mean, he's not having the same impact he had a couple seasons ago, like in 2020 when they went to the conference finals. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and maybe if you want to throw something else, like with John Collins, you have the assets to do that. So that's what if I was the Hawks, I'd trade John Collins and maybe like another valuable asset I have on my team.
I need you to tell me like a player, like what can they trade him for though? That's gonna really improve this team to contending.
They don't need offense, like I said. They need a defender, but I'm trying to think of okay. Would this work? Would you trade John Collins for Draymond Green? I don't know. So say if they do like say they do like a signing trade, right? Say they sign Draymond to like whatever he wants, so they can match up contracts with John Collins. Would you do that?
It would
You do.
definitely depend on what Draymond is making and how long that contract is. Because he's getting up there. Probably not, man. I don't, because,
No?
no, I don't think Draymond's going to be as impactful on another team than what he is on the Warriors.
But wouldn't you think that the Hawks would be better defensively with Draymond on there?
I think so, but, I mean, I don't think they're horrible defensively. Like, DeJounte is definitely helped their defense.
They're not bad. They're not bad. It's just
DeAndre Hunter's a good perimeter defender. Clint Capella's
it doesn't make
cool.
sense. How are they 17 and 19 right now? And they're 4 and 6 in the last 10 games. They have great offense and they have decent defense. Something's not adding up here. Maybe I don't know if it's the tension between Trae Young or maybe the rumors about Nate McMillan just leaving. So I mean, maybe it's a new coach. Maybe it's that, but I'm not sure, to be honest.
It is a little questionable. I don't really know what it is with the Hawks.
These past 2 years, the Hawks were the 8th seed last year, right? And they got bounced out against Miami. Something's not connecting here. This team made the conference finals 2 years ago. There's no way this team should be taking this much of a drop off when they have basically the same roster. If anything, they improve with DeJounte Murray. Something's not adding up here.
Yeah, on paper they should have improved.
They still have DeAndre Hunter. They still have shooters around Trae Young. They still have Clint Capella.
I mean, they kind of are struggling with the Bogdanovich injury. I feel like that's a big offensive piece that's kind of holding them back right now.
But even with that, they still have say if you want to take them out, they still have 6 players averaging double digits in points. So this is, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't really pinpoint it right now.
Something's not adding up with the Hawks. Something's not happening. But if I was the Hawks, I feel like they have a chance to contend just because how DeJounte Murray and Trae Young are playing. They're still playing at high levels.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're taking a down. They're not having a down year. They're having great years, if anything.
I don't think Draymond Green is the piece though. They probably just need a third star. Like actual star.
A star?
Yeah, they probably need a third star.
Who would you have in mind? Since they would no. Maybe John Collins or maybe like a Miles Turner? No,
Yeah,
that wouldn't work.
He's not a star.
I'd say Miles Turner is better than John Collins, though.
Yeah, I'd say he's better. But I don't know if Clint Capella is he a free agent this offseason?
I'm not sure.
Because you still got Clint Capella. You can't play Miles Turner at the 4. Oh, this is interesting. It would take John Collins and a lot more. Maybe John Collins and some more young assets, but trying to get Pascal Siakam on this team.
Oh,
I think
that would be
I
nice.
think that would be the top guy for them to target if the Raptors were actually going to try to rebuild and sell off on Van Fleet and Siakam. If they could go after Siakam, it would probably take like John Collins, their young. I think Onyeka Okongwu is like their best player on their young core, or most attractive. It might take DeAndre Hunter too.
Would you have to give up Clint Capella as well, or would you be able to keep him?
I think it would be possible to keep him.
Because if you had to give up Clint Capella, I feel like that's a little too much.
Because then they wouldn't have a center.
Yeah, that's what
I mean. Pascal
Siakam can't play center.
He's playing center for him though. He's playing center.
Yeah, it's just to see how the Raptors are playing. They're the 11th seed right now. They're not good.
It'd probably take like John Collins. AJ Griffin is also probably he's probably their top young piece. AJ Griffin and Okongwu, and maybe like a future protected pick for Siakam.
Damn.
It'd probably be something like that.
The Hawks, dude, that would be a great.
That would be
team.
that would be a conversation
Murray,
starter
Young.
for sure.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, you're right though. They do need to make a trade to shake it up because they can't. I don't think they can rebuild after they traded fucking 5 picks for DeJounte Murray.
No,
So they can't afford to do
no.
that. So they definitely have to make another win now move. And I think Pascal Siakam's the one that stands out to me the most.
That's actually an interesting trade. I wasn't thinking about Pascal.
You just reminded me of him because we both talked about the Raptors and looked at offloading him. So
that would be nice.
All right, I'm gonna move on to my team.
All right.
So this team's actually have had a lot more success recently compared to what they started out. It's Philadelphia. I think they need to make a trade to like solidify themselves as championship contenders because I think they're pretenders right now.
Aren't they the fifth seed?
Yeah, they're fifth, right behind Cleveland. Yeah. And I think they need to add. I think they need to add something that can really help them become a certified championship contender. And I think that's like a go-to option off the bench, because defensively they're actually pretty damn good. They struggled early on, but Doc Rivers has wisened up and got his team in order defensively. And Joel Embiid has been him coming back really like shaped up their defense.
Tyrese Maxey hasn't came back yet.
I don't think so. No, I think he's coming back soon though. The DeAnthony Melton pickup has really helped their defense. Oh my god, really helped them.
Yes,
and especially with like Maxey and Harden being out at different times in the year, that's called on Melton to come into the starting lineup, and he's been the good like defensive guard next to either Harden or Maxey. I think that's really helped their defense as well. And he's been pretty efficient offensively. You're getting 12 per game for Melton on 39% from 3. That's all you can really ask. And you know he's going to give you good defense.
Mm-hmm.
They are 4th in defensive rating, but they're 14th in offensive rating, that really stood out to me.
That's kind of puzzling.
Yeah, because they got Joel Embiid dropping 34 a game. I mean, obviously it hurts like having Harden out early on and then Maxey recently. But I mean, they still have Tobias, who's been pretty efficient. Obviously, like his volume has gone down, but he's still been efficient from the field and from 3. I think the thing to improve their offense would be like a go-to guy off the bench.
Who'd you have in mind?
The first guy that comes to mind was Jordan Clarkson.
Oh, that would be a great.
I don't know how willing the Jazz are to trade their guys like Clarkson and Conley and rebuild, since they're still like hanging on to like the 8th seed.
Yeah,
but like definitely he was the first guy that called out to me on a team that could be rebuilding. Let me look at the stats.
I know this. What about? Okay, this sounds kind of dumb, but what about Russell Westbrook? I know it's kind of a stretch, but I mean if.
Oh, you know, like on the surface, it does sound dumb, but if you if you have to involve the Tobias Harris trade,
I'm okay with that though. Tobias, I mean, I would rather have Westbrook than Tobias though. Just have Harden and Joel, because you already have enough offensive power with Tyrese, and you can put Niang.
So yeah, at full health, the starting lineup would be Harden, Maxey, Tucker, Embiid, and then
Niang. That wouldn't be bad. And you have Westbrook come off the bench with the
Russ would be a perfect 6th man.
That would be amazing.
I don't know if I can confidently start Niang in playoff basketball though. Like he's having a solid year, of course, from downtown.
Yeah, but that's it, really.
He's still really slow-footed defensively.
He'd get killed by Giannis.
Maybe. I don't think they're gonna go back to starting Thibault.
No. He doesn't bring them much offensively. That's why.
Very little. That's interesting. That is interesting. Straight up Tobias for Russ. Russ off the bench.
I mean, the Lakers would get better too. I mean, you had Tobias and a solid scorer.
Yeah. That is very interesting.
Yes, sir.
That's a good one, Bryant. That could be another guy. Just point period to somebody to bolster their bench because they just get no production there. And I feel like somebody that can just be really impactful off the bench, like Russ is this year, and like Clarkson, who's been really impactful off the bench the past like 3 or 4 years. Somebody like that. Who else? I would have said Terry Rozier, but he signed like a 4-year extension that is really unattractive.
Nah, I would rather have Clarkson or Westbrook.
I'd probably rather have Clarkson too.
I feel like Rozier has an ego to himself. I mean, I feel like Westbrook has one, but I mean, it's not. I feel like it's kind of calmed down, especially this season.
Yeah, I think those are the guys. Those are the guys that stand out. Russ and
Man, that'd be an interesting. Dude, that'd be a good ass trade for both teams.
Yeah.
Westbrook for Tobias. That'd be a really good team.
I have another segment, Bryant.
Uh-oh.
Who is on the trade block right now? We're almost in January, so we're a month away from the trade deadline. Who do you think is on the trading block?
Trading block? I think the Lakers are gonna try. I think Patrick Beverley, Levine, DeRozan. Trae Young maybe. I don't know if Trae Young's a tough one. Westbrook, Miles Turner, Buddy Hield.
I don't think those Pacers are on the trading block anymore.
No, actually, never mind. No,
Pacers are
playing amazing right now. Actually, never mind.
Pacers should definitely be trying to solidify their playoff spot. They're 6th right now.
What's their? Yeah, never mind. I forgot. Yeah, there's no way they're making that trade with the Lakers now.
Yeah, they missed their chance. Lakers took a L on that one. They had a chance.
I would want to say AD, only if he was. I don't know if he'd be healthy by the time the trade deadline is over. But if I was the Lakers, I'd look into trading for AD, see what I could get for him. But I mean, that's really who I have right now. What about you? Who you have?
Yeah, pretty similar, honestly. I don't really have anybody else to say. I want to read an article though. No. Let's see this one. 7 NBA trade rumors you need to be paying attention to. Oh yeah, we forgot to say John Collins. We just talked about John Collins this entire time.
John Collins. Siakam.
And Siakam. Oh, Jay Crowder.
Oh my god, I forgot that man played in the NBA.
I forgot about it.
Holy crap.
I completely forgot about Jay Crowder.
Dude, what?
I really want to know what it was that
ticked
him off or led the Phoenix to just not wanting him a part of their team anymore. To the point where he's just on their team and just not suiting up. That's so weird to me.
Yeah.
That's so weird. Oh, Bojan Bogdanovic in Detroit.
Oh my god, I forgot.
I think he's their leading scorer right now. I don't think it's Cade. I think he's leading them in scoring.
They're 9-28, I think. Something. I know it's a horrible record. Jeez.
Yeah. Oh my god, bro. I completely forgot about him. Because he's in NBA Siberia.
He's still in trade talks, though. He's still in trade talks with Westbrook.
That's crazy. I want to double check because I'm pretty sure he's leading them in scoring.
It's probably averaging 19 or 20, something like that.
Dude, he might be like the guy that everybody's going to target towards the deadline because he's clearly on a rebuilding team. Yeah, he's dropping 20 a game, leading them in scoring. Clearly on a rebuilding team that's dead last in the league. Yeah,
I heard Obi Toppin was in trade rumors. I think that was today or yesterday. He was in trade talks.
That makes sense.
I don't even know. What would you get for Obi Toppin? I mean...
That's a weird one. I don't know.
I was like, what?
He hasn't really done much to establish his value because he doesn't get that much playing time.
Tom Thibodeau is a horrible coach. He's just his minutes, dude. I don't get his minutes.
Yeah, but Bojan Bogdanovic, man. I definitely think he's going to be the guy that everybody goes after.
You think he's going to get traded probably?
I think so. It doesn't really make sense
to keep him.
For Detroit to keep him, especially if they can get like draft picks. I'd put like 80% likely that he gets traded by the deadline. Well, that's gonna do it, Bryant, for what episode is this for? Completely forgot.
Yeah, sounds like that.
4 or 5, but it's good to be back though.
Yeah, not bad for our first episode in the month.
No, not at all. I think this is
actually this might be our best one.
It's gonna be a lot easier to edit.
Yeah.
All right, for sure. Well, that is going to wrap up episode whatever it is of the Light Skins podcast. Thank you, Bryant, for joining me.
Of course, anytime.
And we will wish you guys a happy new year.